to get that done. We are 9,300. So we were very close to harvester full, I guess. We're pretty much 10,000 already, so we've got capacity for another 6. Oh, and he's just reversing through the crop because it's fun. Okay, we'll park that there, and we'll send the worker home as soon as he's stopped driving in the crop. Okay, so I think, as I established, we're not going to get all of this field in the trailer as it sits right now. I'm not sure we're going to complete the field either with the capacity of the harvester. However, if I empty off into the trailer, I should be able to finish the field off, which means maybe it's worthwhile just running the sorghum into our silo temporarily, emptying the harvester. We can then quit renting it and then go and ship all the sorghum at our leisure, and probably set the Massey Ferguson to mulching this field too. That might be something. I know for Farm Sim 19 with seasons, because it tracked crop moisture, it did mean that you could lose a few hours harvesting every morning. So it wasn't like you can get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, start harvesting, and be done by 10. You could get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, go out, and it would tell you the crop's too wet to harvest. Now in Farm Sim 22, when it's raining, you lose yield on your crop because it's wet. But there is no early morning dampness in the crop that prevents you from harvesting in 22. That was just a mechanic of Farm Sim 19's seasons mod. But that was kind of nice because obviously if you had a super dry hot night, the crop was ready to harvest as soon as you turned the lights on the harvester. But because we were playing on a British map, typically early mornings in fall, the ground is very wet, and so you'd lose 2, 3, 4 hours in the morning before you could actually get the harvester turned on. One of the reasons why it was a good thing to do root crops, because I get up in the morning and it's sort of, it's too damp to harvest the wheat. However, I can go out and harvest the potatoes for 3 hours. And then once the wheat's dried out, I can harvest some wheat and finish off the potatoes later. So that was a nice model, which obviously we don't get in 22. I think, looking at this, we might actually get all of it in the tank. The problem is we won't get all of it in the tipper. So I should probably think about emptying our grain cart and then letting the harvester go home. It's a bit unfortunate. Last winter they did have a Torian for sale in the shop sales, and then the next game day, let's call it the next week, we got Alexian for sale, cheap. It's sort of, I would really have liked to have bought those, but we've done all that. It's like we are now. The harvesting's done. If a harvester comes up for sale tomorrow, explain to me why I need it, because it's just going to be sitting in the yard doing nothing for 12 months or 11 months until next season's harvest comes round. I mean, at least if it comes up tomorrow, I could buy a used harvester and go and blitz the local contracts with it. And so that would give me a lot of income that I'm not directly paying a per hour usage cost on. Obviously, I am paying something because there's maintenance. But that's a deal. Once you get down to November, though, that's harvest's over. I'm not harvesting until next July, so why do I want to buy a harvester in November? Because I can't even contract with it. Okay, I think we have done really well on this field. Come on, precision farming. There we go. So we have liquid fertilizer, lime. Total earnings 44,000. That's actually not bad. It's not true because we haven't earned anything on this field yet. We took it all to the grain mill and sold it. But, it's a thing. And surprise, we actually got the field complete. Alrighty. And the tractor's not turned on, so we don't have visual on the load in the tipper. It looks like we got less than 2,000. 1,200 litres left. Oh well. We can run this over here. I'm going to need to take a quick 5-minute break. So, I'll pull this out of the way. And I'll get the Massey Ferguson working this field on a worker. Oh, there it is. Oh, engine. So, silage prices go up next month. So I might sell most of the silage that we have on the farm. I don't know. I mean, next month or September, I'm going to want to cut our grass field again. So I really can't. I don't have the capacity for another row of bales in our silage clamp. Okay, we'll look at that. Turn it that way and let it go on a worker. And I will be back in a moment. Okay, we're back. Come on, go. I turned the engine off, didn't I? Go. Thank you. So I think my plans for this afternoon, I got a couple of desks in the corner of the basement which I need to move out I'm going to put one on each side of the walkout exit so they can be used to put things on. And I'm going to use them in part to assemble stuff. I've got about half a dozen wooden legs I need to get assembled. And I might get to that this afternoon as well. And maybe start assembling the bench that I've had the bits cut for about a year now. Maybe longer. Because once I start assembling, I usually get into, oh, now I need to get the rest done. And we'll probably spend some of this week sometime cutting more bits of wood for more benches. So there's all that. I may be a little bit short on 4x1 material. Okay. Definitely short of 3x1 and 2x1, which is what I'm using for the legs, but I can get 2 legs out of each. 6 foot length I think I'm using. Okay. Leasing equipment. Let's send it all home. We put 6.8 hours on it. Yeah, let's send that home. Header. We put 6.3 hours on that. And we put negligible amounts on the cutter. The thing. The doodad, what you put the stuff on. Okay, so he is still, I hope, doing his mulching thing. We can take some sorghum to the plant. So yeah, I need to assemble at least the bench structure. I'm gonna need probably some MDF as the track base. At the moment I'm kind of undecided whether I should use foam, cork or both to try and eliminate some of the sound. One of the problems with model railways is you can get a lot of vibration of the motor through the wheels, through the track into the baseboard or the bench, and it amplifies the sound. And by using good sound deadening techniques, you can mitigate at least some of that. The nice thing about cork is it can give the edge of the track a ridge, which is what you see in real life. But cork can have its limits on sound mitigation. Okay, we are now no longer spending money on the harvester, so that's a good thing. We're at 58,000 money, so we're still over 50,000. I'm happy with that. But yeah, I usually get the bug of sort of, okay, I've assembled one, I've now got to do the rest, or at least use up all the wood I have, making more. Probably going to need to buy some carriage bolts to bolt the benches together, because that's usually the most sturdy thing to do. Excuse me. But then the same could be said on mounting the legs. Mounting the legs with carriage bolts gives them a little bit more strength than just screwing them. Although I'm kind of thinking screwing and gluing is probably going to be sufficient. And then I finally have 2 more sound chips for the locomotives, so I've got 2 locomotives that need sound chips installed. And maybe I'll do that later today, or maybe I'll watch some YouTube videos, I don't know. Maybe I'll do both at the same time, although these particular control chips are going to need to have the speakers soldered on, and that's going to take some concentration, I think. Oh, and 1,000 litres more. I could just leave 1,200 litres in the silo and ship it later. I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's a plan. I could actually look and see if there are sorghum contracts to do and pull 1,200 sorghum from our silo when we head out to do the contract. It'll all get shipped to the same place, but it does mean that I don't have to make a special trip for such a small amount of grain. Okay, that can be the plan, I guess. So I can put the cart, I guess I'll put the cart under shelter now. And see how we can't plant anything in August. Okay. See how our mulching is getting along. Oh, I was gonna go and get some mineral feed. Okay, we will do that. I guess I will take the rest of the sorghum with me, since it's all in the same direction. And then we're definitely done with the cart for weird deer encounters. Oh, I don't have a front loader down at the store, do I? Ugh. Kind of thinking when a front loader comes up, we will get one with the bag lifter, and I'll be able to lift and tip bags. And or pallets. The problem is with the telehandler, there's no bag lifter for that. Although it has the lift height to lift the bags high enough for a tipper. Get this done. How are we doing? 11:42. You'll see the problem I have with loading this cart by other than front loader means when we get there, and it's kind of similar with the truck, the box truck we have. Loading pallets from the floor takes a long time. Picking up pallets in a pallet fork and allowing it to load that way is much quicker. Okay, that's empty. So we have 58,000 money still. So I'm liking the money levels, because we did drop below 50 at one point, but that was last day of July. We were just below 50, and I could sell some wheat. Sorry, not some wheat. Some flour, some bread, and the tomatoes, and so we did manage to lift ourselves back quite significantly over 50,000. Obviously buying mineral feed is going to use that up quite significantly, I guess. And you can see, I think some of these fields we harvested that are now full of weeds. I don't have a cultivator, so I can't do cultivation contracts. So I could have put the arms on the tractor, because we do have arms for both. Okay, let us... oh, loading wagon. Very tiny loading wagon. That might eventually come in useful once we've got Maize Plus loaded, and if cows graze grass, you can assist the cows grazing by going out and mowing some grass, collecting it and dropping it straight in the food trough. What am I doing here? I'm looking for mineral feed, which I don't think is there. Pretty sure isn't there. Only comes in bags on pallets, which is annoying because five, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's about 10. So the other thing I wanted to look at was pig food. I think pig food comes in bags. Pig food is 900 for 1,000 litres. So I've heard people talking about using, the difference between growing your food and buying it. So if you are selling grains more than 900 pounds per litre, per 1,000 litres, then it's worth buying your food and selling what you grow. Now the difference with what we're playing, because we're on hard mode, barley's the best. The barley range is 375 maximum, so the best we can get for selling the barley is 375. So it's worth keeping the barley and feeding it to an animal. Sorghum, 526. Corn, 492. Sunflowers, 795. Canola, 721. Soybeans, 1,200. Soybeans, it's not worth growing soybeans and feeding it to your pigs. It's worth selling your soybeans. But so far, everything else, feed it to your animals, because you're never going to get and cover the income of the food, or the cost of the food, doing it that way.